Hello there, and today we're going to be talking about the fall of Mace Windu the Powerful. So we all know Jedi Master Mace Windu as the guy with the purple lightsaber, purely because Samuel L. Jackson wanted to stand out in the Star Wars films, and no one was ever going to say no to him. However, there is a lot of lore behind one of the more iconic Jedi, as he was in many episodes of both series of the Clone Wars. He's in many books and also many other media. Today, we'll be looking at how Mace Windu was one of the most powerful Jedi at his time, seeing his rise through the Jedi ranks before exploring his fall from power, his literal fall out of the window. So who was Windu then? So Mace Windu was a revered Force-sensitive human born on Haran Kal in 72 BBY. So during the Clone Wars, which lasted from 22 BBY to 19 BBY, Windu was a general for the Grand Army of the Republic, and we will explore some of his notable battles a little later on. So Windu was a traditionalist and a firm believer in the Jedi Order and also the Code, and he would promote ancient traditions which would work in his favour but also slightly lead to his fall. So Windu was also far from the perfect Jedi. So he struggled as a youngling to build his own lightsaber, and was described by Master Huyang as lacking patience and understanding to construct his blade. However, speaking of lightsabers, Mace's purple blade perfectly exemplifies his inner commitments. So it blends the blue hue of the Jedi with the red of the Sith, just as Mace incorporates the dark side elements into his fighting. So one of Mace Windu's biggest strengths, and we will definitely get to this a little later on, was his lightsaber prowess. So he was a notable practitioner of Form 7, also known as Droyo, and he created a variant of Droyo known as Rapad. So why was Windu powerful? So he was a member of the Jedi High Council, so was one of the top Jedi in the Order, and rose to that position somewhere between 50 BBY and 42 BBY. So he could have been as young as 22. So after the fall of the Jedi and the rise of the Empire, Windu was remembered fondly by the people he served with, including Twi'lek leader General Cham Syndulla, who Windu helped to liberate Ryloth with. So Windu was one of the most powerful members of the Order. He was a formidable warrior, and, well, I'm going to let him put it himself best, which he says during the Battle of Anaxes. So my name is General Mace Windu of the Jedi Order. At this point of the Clone Wars, I have dismantled and destroyed over 100,000 of you Type 1 battle droids. I'm giving you an opportunity to peacefully lay down your weapons so that you may be reprogrammed to serve a better purpose than spreading the mindless violence and chaos which you have inflicted upon the galaxy. So we've mentioned Windu's saber skills before and how he created the style of Vapad, and this is worth mentioning once more as it is a very impressive achievement for a Jedi. So Form 7 was considered the most unpredictable and aggressive form of combat and came very close to dark side practices. However, Windu never fell to the temptations of the dark side and was only one of 2 Jedi to do so. So with his deadly saber skill, Windu bested a multitude of opponents, including the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Sidious. So Windu was also skilled in the ways of the Force. He had a couple of rare Force abilities like Shutter Point, which allowed him to sense key moments where the outcomes would severely impact the result of the challenge or battle. So with these Force powers and combat skill, Windu became one of the most powerful and respected members of the Jedi Order. So now we've seen how Windu became powerful, now we'll look at his fall. So after the rise of the Empire, Mace Windu was used in Imperial propaganda. He was portrayed as a leader of a criminal gang of Jedi who were responsible for the outbreak of the Clone Wars, which plagued the galaxy for 4 years, turning public opinion against him and the Jedi Order. So during the blockade of Naboo, Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn claimed he fought a Sith. Windu, along with fellow council member Mundi, thought that the Sith could never return without them knowing. So their arrogance led to only Qui-Gon and Kenobi returning to Naboo and dueling the Sith, Darth Maul, which led to Qui-Gon's death. So without Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan Kenobi had the very difficult task of training Anakin Skywalker. So if Anakin was more like Obi-Wan, this wouldn't have been much of a problem. However, Anakin was not a traditional Jedi. He acted on emotions, he would disobey the council, much like Qui-Gon Jinn. So if Qui-Gon lived and trained Skywalker, potentially Anakin's own fall may have been prevented. So Windu and the rest of the council, we're not putting all the blame on Windu here, not taking Qui-Gon's belief about the revenge of the Sith, led to a series of events leading to the revenge of the Sith. So Windu and Skywalker had a strained relationship, and this was made worse with Windu stating to Anakin's face that he didn't trust him. So all this led to the duel between Windu and Sidious. So just moments before this duel, Jedi Masters Adrian Kolar, Sassine Tin and Kit Fisto had been taken out like chumps due to, once again, overconfidence in their abilities. And I will be honest, I did look up the names of two of those Jedi Masters because I could not remember them. In taking only 4 warriors to deal with the Sith and leaving Anakin Skywalker, one of the best Jedi duelists of all time, behind, led to some very unfortunate outcomes. So in that duel, Anakin would face a choice: loyalty to the Order that has used and shunned him, or loyalty to what could essentially be described as a father figure. And here we reach the pinnacle of Windu's fall. He has Palpatine beat, but ignores Anakin's pleas for mercy, leading to that crucial decision and Windu's shocking defeat and fall. So that's Windu's fall. So the conclusion of this video. There we have it. The rise of Mace Windu, from a young boy rising through the ranks of the Jedi Order before finding himself a Grand Master on the High Council, being respected by many Jedi and non-Jedi alike. And we also have his fall. We see some of his flaws and how Palpatine manipulated him and other Jedi into doing his will until Order 66 came around and the purge of the Jedi occurred. So could Windu's fall have been avoided? So we do have the benefit of hindsight to critique his decisions, but we will just quickly look at his biggest 2 mistakes. Mistake number 1, not taking Qui-Gon seriously when he claimed the Sith had returned. If a greater number than 2 Jedi returned to Naboo, then the Duel of the Fates may not have been as epic, but Qui-Gon would have been more likely to survive and then train Anakin, and Qui-Gon would have been a much more flexible mentor than Obi-Wan, potentially preventing Skywalker's own fall and manipulation at the hands of Palpatine, and in hand of doing all that, also avoided Windu's fall. There's also the possibility that Maul could have been captured and shared secrets regarding Palpatine, the Sith, and all these cunning plans saving the Order. But not to put all the blame on Windu, as he was not solely responsible for mistake number 1, but he was solely responsible for mistake number 2. So what is mistake number 2? Well, it's not taking Skywalker to arrest Palpatine. So taking Anakin would have shown him that Windu did in fact trust him and respect him as a fellow Jedi, which would have made the entire betrayal of Anakin a slightly harder decision to make. So having Anakin along would have prevented Skywalker from stewing with his thoughts, which ultimately led to the decision that he needed Palpatine more than he needed the Order. So Anakin being present in the duel would also have shown Anakin himself how powerful and dangerous Palpatine was, instead of him arriving and seeing a frail old man about to be executed by Windu. So seeing that would definitely have reduced the effectiveness of Palpatine's manipulation. So all these things considered, Windu's fall could have been prevented, but Palpatine was a great schemer. So he could still have bested Windu and the Jedi, regardless of whether they put a foot wrong. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you again at some point.